Mixed martial art or MMA is one of the fastest growing combat sport in the world, demanding a unique combination of strength, skill, discipline and mental toughness. From intense training sessions to stepping inside the cage under immense pressure, MMA fighters push themselves to the limit in pursuit of victory. Today we speak with Ribhalang Sun, who remains undefeated as of 9 fights. Let's talk about her challenges inside and outside the arena.
Regarding MMA, I have competed 9 fights already, and I have competed in the national level also in MMA, mixed martial arts, and even in the wrestling competition, I had competed in the national level. Yes, in MMA, I haven't had any loss yet, and right now I'm still undefeated. I have a record of 9 wins and 0 loss. To think in a way that being a woman to be in a combat sport is quite difficult because you have a lot of challenges. Well, some people, they usually think that I'm a very lucky person when it comes to fighting, but they don't see the hard work that I put in behind the scene, let's say that, because most of them, they think that training and winning every time and being undefeated means you're always lucky, or maybe you have a lucky win or a lucky day, but it's never that. It's always the hard work that you put through and the consistency that you do every day, it counts. Whenever I have a fight, I'll always have this anxiety. And then I usually train in the morning and I train in the evening. And then there are days but I feel so nervous to the point that I usually train in the afternoon as well. And after training session in the evening, I usually go for a run, or I do meditations, and I do a lot of things to distract my mind to not be so nervous before the fight. And this is all the training process that I'm having. I feel like mental health is a big issue when it comes to any fighters, because if you are physically fit and if you're not mentally fit is one of the biggest problem as a fighter. You can be mentally healthy and not physically healthy, but you can still defeat the person if you're mentally fit. But if you're not mentally fit and you're physically fit, you cannot defeat anyone, nor yourself. So I've always had a trick that when I'm having mental issues or whatever problem, the best thing I do is meditation. Right now I'm doing it full time, and I've been concentrating a lot on mixed martial art and especially wrestling, since I'm preparing for the national games. And recently I had an injury, so I have just recovered from that, and I hope so I'll get back stronger and better, and to overcome all the things that I have had all those past 2 months, and of course to be able to get a medal in the national games. I think we don't have any such thing as like an idea, because all you do is you have to train, be consistent and don't miss the class, that's all. My view on this is because when it comes to MMA, I feel like the government hasn't really recognized asthma, because it's not a government sport and it's not under the Olympics or whatever. But like I said, in my previous interview, I told this already, that the person that had really had been that person who really have helped us as a fighter, it's always our coaches. He supports us, and sometimes when there are times we don't really have money, he will sponsor us. The government never really sponsor us as a MMA fighter. But when it comes to wrestling, because now it's under the Olympic Association, so we get sponsorship from him. I feel like the most difficult part is when you have an injury and you feel like your life is all over and then you have nothing to do, and maybe sometimes it really tricks your mind and you're gonna have a problem with your mental health, then along with your physical health. then it's really tricking your mind to the point that there are days that you feel like giving up everything. So for the women out there, you should know and you should see for yourself that the world is not safe, and it's best for you to train and to always be in any combat sport. It will help you out to depend on yourself and not to depend on others. And you should always be aware and should always be alert, because the surrounding itself is very cruel, and the world and the people itself are very cruel, to the point that we need to train. MMA is the kind of sport that every age or any age, they can always do it. If you have the will, you'll always be able to do it. And there are people here who train at the age of 50, 58, they train MMA and they can still cope up with the small kids or the young kids. So I think there's no age limit for MMA.
MMA has been in Shillong for quite a while now, and I would say there's quite a lot of athletes coming up also, a lot of fighters coming up. She has just recently started, I think. She has been very active in the last 2 or 3 years back. So she started late, but she was also a very natural athlete. She was always active in her life, but the moment she came, we saw that she was very active and she was able to do most of the exercises. And regarding medals and everything, she has competed in wrestling, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu and in MMA. She's won silver in kickboxing tournament. She's won gold in jiu-jitsu. She's won I think 3 gold medals in wrestling. And in MMA, she has gone undefeated for 7 or 8 fights. So she has not yet been defeated. She's done very well in terms of for herself. The challenges that they face is usually not from MMA, but I would say from outside, because I would say they might be afraid that their daughter is going to a combat sport. So I think, that's one of the main challenges. But besides that, the coaches are there. We are there to guide them. We are there to protect them. If we feel that it is not safe or feel like they're in danger, we are always there for them. But regarding that, the challenges is usually from outside, not from inside the gym. Yeah, I would say convincing the families, I think not just for girls but for boys also, convincing anyone to make them fight in a cage, it's not simple, because you're just going inside a cage and fighting another person who's trying to hurt you and you're trying to hurt them for the sake of competing and everything. But I would say it's quite difficult to convince, but it depends on the athlete also. If the athlete and the fighter really wants to compete, I don't think anyone can really stop that, because that's what they want to do. For every 10 guys, there's 1 girl, most probably. It's always like that. So 10-to-1 ratio is very less. Since MMA is quite new, and it's new, but it's also growing very fast. And I would say it's very exciting also compared to other sports, especially jiu-jitsu and everything also. MMA, I would say, is more exciting compared to other sports, in my opinion. Right now, with the internet and videos online, there's not much difference, I would say, in terms of training and everything else. I would say other people might have advantages in different things, and we might have advantages in different things, but the difference is not much, I would say. I don't know, maybe mentality, sometimes not mentality, but it depends on person to person, Some people would say that, I come from a warrior culture, but it is not just in Northeast that we have warrior culture. It is also throughout India there are warrior culture. But I think more attention from the government will definitely be helpful, since anytime the government can help us with funding regarding helping new athletes to try it out, because there are a lot of undiscovered talent where some of them might not be able to try it out because of financial problems or whatever. But if there's an institute or a scheme where training is provided for free and the government is funding it, we will definitely discover some new athletes. For those people who think that MMA is a dangerous sport, I would say every sport is dangerous. Wrestling has its own dangers, basketball has its own dangers, risks and everything. So when we enter a sport, we know the danger, but just know that when you enter a combat sport, you're not just learning the combat sport, you're also learning a life skill. So when you're learning a life skill like that and you're practicing against resistance, when you're sparring, you will develop a sense of confidence where you can walk about and go around knowing that if any situation were to happen to you, you know that you have the skills to somewhat defend yourself and have confidence that you've been in certain situations and certain positions where you know that you can defend yourself. I would say MMA and combat sports, more than the competing, the confidence that you get from combat sport and the confidence that you get that you know that you can defend yourself in situations to make sure that it doesn't escalate too much, that's where the beauty of combat sport is. MMA is not just a grappling sport, it's not just a striking sport, it's a combination of both. And something like in a self-defense situation, a lot of things can happen. There's a lot of uncertainty. So MMA is also, it kind of covers almost all of it, but not every aspect of it. But at least you know that if it goes into a grappling situation, you have trained for it, and it goes into a striking situation, you have some sort of practice or experience with it. But if my advice for anyone regarding male or female when it comes to self-defense, just don't get yourself in any of that situation, because you never know what the situation can be, and it's always best to be safe than sorry.